Hey there, welcome to House Talk. My name is Dylan Chalk, and on this episode, we are going to be talking perspective drawings. I don't know about you, but this is a class I missed in high school. Charlie Buell is going to be showing us how we can take pictures, doctor them, edit them in PowerPoint, and help build a brand and a style of picture editing that can kind of help you make a mark in your community, help you stand out against other home inspectors who aren't doing this. In either way, these are really cool skills for just learning how to do perspective drawing. So stay tuned and we'll watch Charlie add a cricket flashing to a chimney and enter it into his report. Thanks for watching.
Well, I've done this so many times over and over that I'm pretty good at guessing where it goes. But I'm going to show you where my guess would be, and then I'll show you the long, hard way to get a really accurate indication of where that ridge should be. So you can see up here, you got your toolbar at the top and all these different options you have. Now this is just a quickie option of, if you went to insert, is that got to stay there, Dylan? I'm seeing my share thing. I wonder if that has to stay there. But
you should be able to get your share thing and minimize it so that it's almost gone.
Maybe I can drag. I can at least move it off. I can move it to another screen. That works. All right. So see, previously, I'll go back to the home page. You got this box of things, and you can scroll down through all these to get any different ones you want, or you can also find it over here under insert, where you got all these different options that are tools to draw on your picture with. I probably should have also shown how you can actually get the picture into PowerPoint to begin with. So let's back up and do that. So let's pretend this picture is somewhere else. Maybe it's in your picture folder. So you go to the picture folder, and then you need a snippet tool. I use Snipping Tool. That's a Microsoft one. You can use that. You can also use the Windows key plus Shift plus S. That will give you the same thing. So I use this
Charlie,
one.
can't you also go under insert and just insert a picture?
You can, yeah, but then you've got to, either way.
Okay.
There's three different or multiple different approaches. So you take it, and then you would just open up a new slide and just copy and paste it in there. And that's you can do this from anywhere, a picture from the internet or whatever you want. But so we got our picture in here now, and we'll proceed. So I'm going to pick this line tool up here, and I'm going to pick a spot on here, say from here, and drag it across to, I don't know, maybe here feels about right. And I'm going to make it darker. Now this is an important thing. If you right click on this, you get format shape, and what that does is it opens up this whole box over here where you're going to do a lot of editing with this. So let's say you want this a different color, and you want it a little bigger. So I want it bigger so you can see it. So that might be where the ridge would be. And I'm going to change the color of that, and we're going to leave it, make it purple. And we'll see how close I am to guessing where that ridge should be just visually. I'm going to adjust it a little bit here. Yeah, that's where my guess would be. So now we're going to open up another one. And you want to start with the knowns. I'm going to change this to red and make it a little bit bigger. Everybody see that all right? I think so what are the knowns? Well, you can easily find this point, the low corner here to this low corner. So that's pretty, you can be pretty confident that that line is where it belongs. And now I want a whole bunch of these lines I'm going to surround the chimney and make some triangles, and I'm going to do that multiple times. So what I'll do is I'll hold the control key, just right click and hit copy, and then just hit paste. And I'll do that multiple times, and that way I can get a whole bunch of them easily to make this drawing with. Now if they're all kind of in the way here, so you hold the control key and you can highlight a bunch of them. The idea is here I want to get them all out of the way. So I can just drag them up here where I can get them easier. So now you take any one of them, and this is the next one that's easiest to do. You run it out here, and it just needs to be parallel to all these other lines in the chimney. So that's pretty straightforward. And that gives you the back point where it crosses the back. And then this one's pretty easy because it's just parallel with the mortar joints.
Hey, Charles,
Yeah.
I typed a question. I missed it. I had a
Yeah.
child distracting me. How did you open up that format shape section to the right?
You want to pick any item in the picture, including the picture itself, hit right click, whoops, and format picture, and that'll open up this whole.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, let me close out of it. So right click, oops, format picture, see how it comes up? And that gives you all your options for different things. This is line, all your different options, and we're going to be going back and forth through these options, so you hopefully you'll get familiar with what's in there. It's a lifetime learning process to learn everything that's in this thing, but I use the basic ones you use all the time. Is that good, Megan? So then we go back to this point, and now we can go out here. Now this is the first place you kind of have to guess. Like, does it go here? Does it go here? Does it go here? Well, it's going to be a perspective thing. So I have a lot of experience doing perspective drawing, so I got a feel for where it belongs. So I'm going to guess that it's about there. So that's the first guess. Now you want to figure out where the center is in order to find where's the center of the chimney. Well, in a perspective, it's not half of the distance, it's something less than half. So to find exactly where it is, you have to go across the corners like this, across the corners like this, and that's the center point. And so then you can put the line on here like this and go out, and you want these to line up between these other two. See that? Like, where's it go? It's going to be in line with the brick rows. Isn't that interesting? So then you can come to this end and extend it across, and that finds this point. All of this X here and this is all just to find this one point here. Now I see I'm going to need a few more of these, so I gotta get myself a couple more, And I would draw a vertical line. And you can see how this doesn't feel right, right? So you want to find where does it feel right? And it's going to kind of be in line with these mortar joints, right? So that's where the purple, that's where the center line is. And now we want to see, well, where on this center line is the peak? Well, if you had a way to measure it, this line, oops, I gotta move that out of here. So we're gonna pin this to this corner. And where on that line does it hit? Well, the angle of this line I just put in there is going to be the same pitch as this roof. That's, you know, but we're dealing with a perspective drawing, so it's you gotta have to guess. So I'm gonna say it's right about there. I gotta have, and I need another one of these. I don't need these anymore, so I'll reuse one of these. Oops. You see, that's where the actual ridge point is. Now, my purple line was a little off, wasn't it? So we'll take this. And again, it wants to be a line that makes sense with the other two. See how that is way off there? So how do you, and that feels about right to me in terms of its position. Here's another interesting thing, like you want to move this down to that point, you just hit the arrow key and move it down 1 pixel at a time. That's a way to get really fine tune where your line hits. All right, so now we've got our triangle on the chimney. That is, we've defined that now. So now we just need to find where does it hit over here. In an architectural drawing with this the same pitch as this, it's always going to be a 45-degree angle, but in a perspective view, who knows what it is. So we'll borrow one of these lines and we'll sort of, this is another place you kind of have to guess and just use your best judgment. But I'm going to say it's, yeah, let's pick right about there. How's that look? I'll take this one. Whoops. You know, if you move the picture accidentally like that, you just hit the this up here, it's back, and it'll put it right back where it was. That's really an important factor, as opposed to trying to find where it goes again.
Yeah, can you show that again, Charlie? Because that's big if you mess that up.
Yeah, if you accidentally highlight this and you go to move this, well, the picture might go too, and the picture moves out of space like that. Now it's all messed up, right? You just hit the undo and it puts it right back.
You probably use Control Z too, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's try it. Control Z. Yeah, it does. Awesome. See, I learned something. All right, so I'm going to borrow this one here. All right. So now you can see that we've actually defined the cricket, haven't we? So I can get rid of, I'll get rid of this one. That one I still need. This one I don't need. So my purple line was a little off, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It would have been a little bit funnier looking, but we'll get rid of the purple line now. All right.
Are you just deleting those, Charlie?
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, just hit the delete key. All right. So let's up here now. If you can see my cursor, there's a very irregular shape item. You click on that, and that will allow me to create a triangle of the shape I want. And
Can you point out one more time which little icon, which
yeah, it's
Egyptian
this one
hieroglyphic
right
that was?
here.
Okay.
Let
Yes, I'll
me,
see that. Freeform shapes.
yep, everybody got that? So I've got my shape here, and I want it, I'm gonna reduce the size of the line, make it 1 point. Now I can we'll go up here to fill, solid fill. Well, that's,
Wait, where'd you go up to solid fill? How'd you get that?
yeah, so you got fill and we got line. This section controls everything to do with fill. And this, everything to do with line. That's the weight of the line, whether it's a dotted line,
Oh,
whatever,
I
whatever.
see. I had all my stuff in my way. I couldn't see over there.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
whatever it is. So let's make it, since, I mean, you could leave it all solid for that matter, but I like to do it as transparent overlays so that people can still see what was there and whatnot. Let's see, so what color do we want? Let's use, what color do I want? Let's use this color here. So that's the color I'm going to use. And I'm going to make this a dotted line. So all your, whoops, not that one. All your dotted line choices are here. We'll pick this one. So you can see how that's a dotted line all the way around. It'll show up better when I make the fill transparent. So with
Cool.
this transparency, I can go all the way from nothing to solid. So I just want to do something so that I can see what the heck I've got. So this is another line we don't need anymore, so I'll get rid of that line. So now we got this back triangle. Let's fill that one up. So again, I go up and pick this irregular shape, and this is kind of an interesting one because if you just make a full triangle, if I go over here and connect this, and then I make it dotted, I've got a double dotted line there that doesn't function so well. So what I do is stop there, hit enter, and that just puts the line on those two sides. And again, I got to come over here and change this to 1. Hit the, I got to go up here to solid fill. We don't want it solid white, so we make it this color. And because this is on the back side, I'm going to leave it a little, whoops, that's the line. Transparency, so I'll leave it a little darker. That gives it a little bit more of an idea that the thing's got a shape if you do that. There's some complicated things you could do. You can do gradient fills and all kinds of stuff, but we're going to keep it relatively simple today. It already looks complicated enough, no doubt. So we can get rid of this line now. We don't need that. So I highlight it and hit delete, get rid of it. And you can see my shape color didn't quite line up. So if you're fussy about it, you could redo that, but I'm not going to because it's going to get hidden in a later thing that we do. So that's our basic Cricut. And now what I want to do is highlight that first triangle I did, and I'm going to just move it down 6 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll move this one over 6. That's the left arrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That really doesn't work. I'm going to show you another trick that works. So I can move these out like this. Am I going to be able to do this way or not? I want to get rid of these. Anyway. So just remember where that point is, and I'll move this back in here. And then I can get rid of this one and move this back in there. But you want to move it over with the arrow key, just like that. And there's your basic cricket. That might be enough for you, but we're going to get carried away here for a bit because that's what this is all about, right? So, questions so far? Or is it
Yeah, let's see.
painfully clear so far? All
I've
right.
been following along with my PowerPoint, so
Nice.
Have you?
pretty good.
All right. I can't wait to see it.
Well, no, I'm not doing what you're doing. Practicing.
All right. All right. So now we got the roof flashing detail. We can't forget that because this could be just all metal or whatever it is. So to do that detail, we're going to go back up here and get our what do you call that? Irregular shape tool. And we're going to pick this point and go out a bit, and then we can come up a bit. And notice you can keep perspective a little, but you want to find where this point comes out across here. And I'm just going to guess at it. And then you can go down like this. Yeah, I missed a little bit, but it's all right for now. And then I got to come back up here.
Oh, so you're building like this whole little shape of a valley, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so this should be my valley shape, roughly. And let me get rid of, lower the points on the line, and then we want to fill it. So we'll go up to solid fill. And let's see, what do we want? What color do we want? We'll use the same color because it is the same valley, same flashing detail. So we'll make it, make it transparent. So that's the basic shape of the entire flashing detail of the cricket. And of course, it continues on underneath the shingles. The shingles are over the top of the flashing, correct? So in order to highlight that a little bit, you can take your line tool again, and you can put a line on here. Did that do it or not? Yeah. All right, so then we'll increase it to about that big. And wouldn't it be nice to make that kind of look a little bit like shingle color? So we can go over here to our line color, pick an eyedropper, and then pick a nice color over here that would match the shingles. And you end up with a line then that kind of looks a little bit more like the edge of the shingles. Doesn't step like the shingles, but you could do that if you really wanted to get carried away, and depends on just how anal you might be. And then I'll put a similar line on this side. Just to accent that that's the edge of the shingles. If you lose the line, so you just click on this and that opens up your line color again. Now notice how that last color I used is right here. So you don't have to go back over and hunt it for it. You just click on it. the last ones always, all the ones you use in the presentation you're working on will show up on this right here. Let me open this up. So all of these are the ones that I've been using today in this. So that's a useful thing to remember. Now for me, I think I want this just a hair darker. So you open this up and you hit more colors, and you see you can change that a little bit, make it a little bit darker. Isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we've got a pretty decent flashing detail now, but we don't want to forget the chimney flashing. So let's put that in here as well. So we'll start here, go up the chimney, come up like this, come down like that. And again, now this is kind of an interesting one because I'm gonna get rid of the line and totally, because we've already got lines everywhere we need them, and I don't want to double it up. So let me go back, make this 0, and we'll do solid fill and make that color this one again, and make it transparent. But we do still want to outline it, so then you go back in and you just draw an outline on the outside of it. And we'll make that 1 point. All right, so that's pretty much the whole shebang for the actual cricket, and then, but maybe it's going to have shingles on it. Yes. Yeah, it all depends on how far you want to take this. I mean, you can actually go take a screenshot of some shingles and actually fill it with real looking shingles, but I don't usually go to that extent.
So one thing it'd be cool to see too is like, well, now we have this in PowerPoint, but getting it into a report, and do you put it as 2 pictures? So you have the chimney like by itself, and then you add another picture with like the cricket overlay, or?
Well, that's kind of why I do it transparent.
Yeah,
So,
because you
know
just
what I
really
mean?
need one picture then.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could do it either way, but all right. So let's put shingles on it then.
Yeah.
All right. So to do that, you're going to get the irregular tool again. Then you're going to start here, go like this. And this is really just defining the valley, isn't it? So let's the point size. Now we're going to do what's called a picture fill. Now this is a picture that I used recently, so it defaults to that, but there's a whole slew of pictures you can use. And I fiddled around with this a little bit yesterday, and I figured out I could get this one, believe it or not, to look more like shingles than anything else. So I put that in there, and that doesn't look like shingles, does it? So then you go to the picture format tool. And over here, you've got a whole bunch of different things you can do. First of all, you can make it transparent. So let's make this transparency. So you can still see the brick and everything behind it. I can change the color a bit, but the color is not so far off. So I'm not really too concerned about the color. But I don't like, I will go to artistic effects, and maybe I can, yeah, does that make it look more like shingles? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But you can fiddle around with all these different options, and notice how it kind of shows up whichever one you're looking at as you hover across them. I can't remember which one I did use yesterday, but what's everybody like? Let's go with that one for now. All right, so maybe that's still a little bit, let me make it a little more transparent. So now we want to do the same for the other side. So I got to go back to home now to get off of this picture format. Go to home and pick the irregular shape. And make the point size different. And then I'm going to picture fill. It should come out the same picture automatically. And it did, but I want it less transparent so that it kind of agrees with, whoops, it's not, yeah, same transparency, different color. So I got to go back to picture format, corrections, and I can make it a little darker or lighter, whatever you need to have it kind of fit with what you're after.
Cool.
So that kind of creates all of that. Now, for me, this original blue I have on here is a little bit too obvious, so I can go back in and lighten it up a little bit.
Charlie,
Yeah.
if the sun is shining in a particular way, that could key you into whether or not it was lighter or darker on either side of the, like
Sure.
if you had a shadow effect
Yeah.
out in the yard and you picked it up.
Yeah. Well, you look at any shape in nature, it's always going to be lighter or darker on one side than the other. So some of this is your artistic sense to some degree. Sometimes there's lots of room for artistic license in here, obviously. So, that's basically we've achieved the cricket we were after. Here's the original one we were looking at, and I think the one we did today is at least as good, if not better.
Yeah.
So then the next thing is you want to maybe label it. So up here, you notice I have this box. This is something that I just keep at the top of my PowerPoint sheet. And it's just stuff I can use whenever I need it for any image that I'm working on. And so we can use this one today. But we're going to need this too. So I can highlight both of those. And if I let go of the control key, I can copy just those two into here. All right. So we'll, this is where you would label, there you go, Jiminy Cricket. I don't even know if that's how you spell Jiminy, but that's something you have to be careful with call out boxes like this is spell check. Well, spell check's actually seeing this one, isn't it? In PowerPoint it does, huh? I guess that's how you spell Jiminy. So at any rate, you can see how, depending on how you set this up, this is your branding, and you're using what the color of the background, the box, the type of arrows you're using, the line color. All of this is going to keep your report consistent if you want it to be. So
how did you make those images like that so that you could just copy and then that whole thing came? Like
that's an awesome question. All right, let's go back. Well, in here, even in here, I can do it. So you go up here to Insert, and here, and then you can pick all these different shapes. This is that one. This is what this one starts out like. So then you can go over to your line tool and increase the line size. You can solid fill any color you want. You can put a pointer on the arrow by going down into the, again, it's under lines. You go down to end arrow type and beginning arrow type. And honestly, I guess, and they get this right 50% of the time. I don't know how to figure it out. But if you hit the arrow, let's see if I guessed it right this time. Yeah, because other times it comes over here. See how if I had picked the other one, it would be, you could have arrow on going the wrong way. So I haven't yet figured out how to get that 100% of the time.
But so the point is, you opened up to make your little cheat sheet. You made a blank slide, and then you just import. You just kept pasting in. The greatest hits of like the different things that you use.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you create that first page at the beginning of every PowerPoint?
Well, this is a PowerPoint that I use. It's called Illustrations for Home Inspectors. So it's one that where I dump all my pictures from a report that I want, or just the ones that I actually want to do this kind of work on. So maybe there'd be, I don't know how many, not all pictures require labels or require call outs or require overlays. So it's just the pictures that I'm going to work on this way, I will dump into PowerPoint. Yeah. Does that make sense? There's you can grab all those pictures and just insert them all into a PowerPoint presentation at once. And then, and if I do it that way, you would use this tool up here, insert photo album, a new album, and over here, then you'd select the pictures you want to be in that album. Then you would copy and paste, I'm going to cancel that, copy and paste this slide into that new PowerPoint. Because you've got it built already, you don't have to rebuild it every single time.
So can you make an album of every picture on an inspection?
Sure.
So, yeah. I mean, your behavior in theory could be that you take all your pictures, you open up PowerPoint, you make an album of every picture would be showing up, and then at the top you could have your little cheat sheet at the top there, and then you could go through and doctor all your pictures if you want, and then just cut and paste them into your report. Is that how you do it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This particular folder I misspoke, is not the folder not the PowerPoint sheet that I use for reports, because this is the one that has all my diagrams that I've been working on. So it's, it's just got tons of stuff in there. But yeah, so that's how you build these, and you can, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. You could make it a dotted line around the outside, or I saw a report the other day, all its call outs, all its pictures were framed with a dotted line like this. I thought it looked awful, but at any rate.
So then if you were working on your reports at home and you have two screens, you get PowerPoint up on one and your software up on another, and just kind of work that way, Charlie.
And when we get all done with this, I'll copy and paste this picture into a report, so you get a sense of how, because you don't have to change this into a JPEG or anything. It's just strictly cut it and paste it right from the screen.
Cool.
Another thing that you can do is, once you go through the effort to create something like the Cricut, you can actually just right click on the photo, and if you go to a new inspection, so you got another property to do next week, you can right click on the photo and choose change photo. And so you got the Wilson house today and the Thompson house tomorrow, you can just put the Thompson house.
Well, yeah, theoretically you could do that, but the problem is you'd have to get the picture at the right angle, the right height, the same pitch roof and everything in order for that to fit. This is only going to fit on this pitch roof and of this chimney taken at this angle.
Yeah.
That's it would be really hard to to take the same picture, exactly the same, really hard. I wish there was an easy way like that, but
It's pretty great. I mean, a lot of what you were teaching here today, Charlie, is perspective drawing, which I somehow missed that class.
yeah.
in my
I know
life.
perspective classes, that's why I really thought it would be kind of cool to do this, because a lot of people, if you're not trained in perspective, you miss a lot of things. I mean, perspective will help you find spaces in between rooms that otherwise wouldn't pop out at you. Design of houses, and well, something doesn't add up right, something doesn't feel right. This room is this size, it feels this size, and then one next to it feels this size, and it turns out there's a 2-foot space between them that you wouldn't sense otherwise, if you didn't have these kinds of
Quick question, Charlie.
Yeah.
On the Jiminy Cricket box, red and blue, could you save that as a preset rather than the one you brought in was black and transparent?
I've never figured out a way to do that in PowerPoint.
Gotcha.
I know that there are some other programs that you can do that with. I think that you can do that with, what's this one? Photoscape X Pro. I'm
Gotcha.
sure you can do that with. And
Gotcha.
a couple of other ones that Mike showed us, you can do that with. But yeah, so that's kind of what I was stuck with this. But you know how often, for me, I'll have a picture and I need I need this one, and I'll hold the control key, and I need this one. I need maybe 2 of these, and I need this and this. And then I can hit copy and dump them all into the same picture at the same time, already available for me, so that I can then put them anywhere I want to define any kind of shape I want, like this. So, that's one advantage of this approach, that if you had all these pre-made, I don't know if you could grab them all at the same time and drag them in or not, I don't know. But like I use these kinds of, this particular thing is great for outlining where the flashing is supposed to be around a front entryway porch that goes up and down steps, and et cetera, et cetera. So so let me get rid of all this garbage in here now.
So you, in your settings, you have snap on, is that correct?
Snippet tool?
Snap, where the lines snap to the end of the next line.
Oh yeah, that's a really good observation.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, for example, if I put, let me take, I can use this, I'll copy it. When you want to bring, let's say it's like this, if you want to bring it up here and put it parallel to that, it's going to want to snap to lines. It's going to want to be parallel. In fact, sometimes you have to fight it to make it go not parallel. So it's somewhat intuitive in that respect, always attempting to line up. Like if I take this one, I don't know why it's not doing it here right now.
In the background, the screen is dressed in a grid, and it snaps to a grid.
Yeah. But why I'm not getting, I should be getting a, when I drag this across, there it is. See all these lines that pop up? Oh, it's amazing how you can't hardly see those. Let me do it in this one. Watch the lines that show up. Where are they now? Huh. Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing.
You hallucinating, Charlie?
I think so. I think so. Well, at any rate, Normally they try to center itself. I don't know why it's not showing up. At any rate, but yeah, they do try to make sense of each other in relation to each other. Anything you do on the screen.
Can you show where the snap setting is? Do you know how to
I don't
change?
know.
You can change snap to like 1 foot apart or 1 inch apart and that kind of thing.
LDC, I didn't even know that.
Do you know where you do that, Gary?
No, that's why I was asking him. But
Yeah.
it is a setting. It's in the probably the master settings. So somebody else may know that. I don't know this drawing program as well as I know a couple of others, but there is a setting for it.
It seems like it makes sense. And maybe somehow that's gotten turned off as to why it's not showing up for me here right now in terms of, because normally if I took this circle and I put it up here, well, see, can you see the center line? There it is.
Yeah.
See how that tried to find the center of the picture?
Yeah.
And you bring it down here, it'll find it the other direction. But for some reason, it's very light. There it is.
Yeah.
So that's the dead center of the picture. Oops, I got that. I got to hit my undo and put that back where it goes. That thing is the most useful thing. I tell you, undo of all kinds of forms is so important.
You know, I tried to pull that out in life, and I can't find that undo button.
I know.
Control Z, right?
Boy, couldn't we all benefit from that?
Yeah.
All right, so now you've got this width, and you want to say, well, it's got to be a cricket if it's wider than 30 inches. So you want to put that this is 42 inches, for example. Well, first of all, I want to make my arrow bigger. Where's my line? So I can make that arrow width bigger. It's just so it stands out a little bit more. You can also notice how, wouldn't it be nice if these 2 points were more parallel with the chimney? And how you would do that is you fiddle around, and I'm just going to show you where you can do that as opposed to, I hope I can do it. That's in 3D rotation. And over here you get all these different views to sort of get you started in the right direction. I can't remember which one. I'll probably pick wrong. Yeah, that's not it. No. Maybe it was that one. Yeah, that's not it. Actually, that is it. So I gotta find it again here. So where's there should be a place I can tilt it, but I don't know where it went to. But then you can drag these points down, and then the arrow sort of makes more sense with the, it looks flat against the chimney now instead of not so flat. And make it a little longer. Another way to make it longer is you go into size, and you can make it longer by going up or down. You make it the right length, and so that looks that's reasonably good. You can see where you can fiddle with this endlessly to get it perfect, and perfect isn't always necessary. All right, so now we want to put text in there to say 42. So let me pick, for that you have to go to Insert, pick the text box, and we'll put 32 inches in that text box. But I want it bigger than that, so we'll make it, could make it 80. That's big enough. Let's see. change, let me get bold. You know, if you hit the shape format, you get some text choices. You can fill the text with white, and you can outline the text with black. You can change the thickness of that line around it that's black with, that's not it. Text outline. See, whatever size you want it to highlight around it. But that doesn't line up with the line, does it? So then you have to go back to your 3D format and find one that will turn that in the right direction. And you can see that that's headed in the right direction. So then you can just kind of click on these to increase that. And then you can lower it down. I'm just hitting the arrow key now to move that down. It's not too bad, but that's most of it right there. So now, once you get it like this and you're reasonably happy with it or disgusted with it, whichever comes first, you can take the snipping tool again and don't worry about where that box shows up. It goes away as soon as you start moving your cursor. And you can even crop the picture a little bit and get rid of some of the excess when you're doing this. And let's see. So there's our picture. And then I've already got my report open on another screen. I'm going to drag it over here too.
Dylan, you need to cue the applause.
Yeah. All right. So what I'll do is I'll go to my roof section, hit on chimneys, go to cricket, missing chimney flashing wider than 30 inches. So that automatically pulled up my narrative for that. Put the cursor in here, and I can either hit Control V or paste, and either way that it automatically pops in there. Is that cool or what?
Yeah, pretty sweet, Charlie. That's amazing. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, the other thing to notice here is that notice all this underlined text. That's just so that I have different choices. Like I could change this to if the roof happened to be really, really steep and whatnot. But you know, that's just a function of how the software works. But
Beautiful, man. Well, so do you guys have any questions? Has anybody got any questions? I got one not too shabby, Charlie.
One not too shabby.
Yeah, it's really impressive. Anybody got any questions for Charlie? You can unmute and just kind of fire questions away now.
Yeah.
Or I got one here that homes with chimneys wider than 30 inches must have a cricket built onto the high side of the chimney. That's scary. Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to have 42 here, didn't I?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about 32, but yeah.
Well, 32 would still be it would still technically need one, but I probably would never say anything.
Yeah.
But 42 I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions, guys? I mean, one thing we might be able to do is, you know, meet up again in a week or something if anybody wants to practice these things. I don't know, you could always, maybe we could, you could, if you like this and you wanted to meet up again at some point, you could let everybody know on the Professional Home Inspectors Facebook page or something. But I know me personally, I need to go like practice a bunch of this stuff, but you've certainly given me some cool ideas, Charlie.
Yeah, and I don't know whether anybody would take the time, but you could go back through this if you get stuck and see how different things were done or get some ideas. But the key is here, you just have to play with it. A lot of this is familiarity and, I mean.
Quick question.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, and I know this is being recorded, but at the very beginning, you put up a crisscross. That is the most important step in this process.
Yeah, absolutely.
So are there any advanced or any other places that I could go and get those tips, like in a video? Yours was good. I can go back to yours. But is this taught anywhere, that crisscross line drawing business?
I learned it in high school drafting.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't.
You nailed it, Gary. I mean, that's it dawned on me, and half the way through this, that so much of this that is hard for me is, and probably a lot of us, is we just missed that perspective drawing class, and that's you're taking all those tools and you're applying those tools to a digital format rather than just hand drawing. But that's the hard part. If you don't have that, it's tricky. So maybe we could all go out and look for, maybe there's probably got to be some resources out there. I bet there's some YouTube videos on perspective drawings and stuff,
Yeah, it's I don't know how else you're going to get it other than find some drafting school videos or some art classes too. I mean, this is all just basic perspective drawing that you'd.
That's right. Yeah.
But in essence, you took a box, right? You took a square in a flat plane and turned it. You like drew it to where it rotated. Is that right? It's like you rotated the box with the back of the chimney.
Well, yeah, I can. Let me. Let's back up here a bit.
I can go back over and watch it again. I was just.
But let's. I need some lines, and I'll just show you how that. Come on.
Choose that blank. Choose the blank chimney there, or that. Yeah.
All right, so let's put those lines back in here.
So what's your thought path with this? Is that there are two planes that you're concerned with, and that's that flat plane in the side of the chimney?
Yeah, I mean, the chimney itself defines, and the pitch of the roof defines where this ridge goes. Where does it go? Is it like that? Is it like
Well, it's going to be a 90 off that, a 90 degree off the.
Well, see, that's the problem, Gary, is like the picture is not 90 degree, right? So that's where you're into the whole perspective thing, is that it's not, it's different than if you're like literally building it there,
Yeah, I mean, and it's exactly the problem of why this one looks so funky.
Right.
It's a combination of perspective and no perspective, so it just doesn't work. But
yeah, that was a Carson and Dunlop.
Yeah. So this is and then at any rate, go back to this. This is the known line. There's no.
So the first line is the chimney face, and the other line is the side of the chimney.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's your 90 degree.
That's
what you're saying.
Yep. And then they got over here. And these three are very easy to get. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This line
it'd be harder if you don't have a chimney or something. I mean, you got all those beautiful mortar lines in there to go off of, right?
Oh yeah, if you got a stucco covered chimney, then you're back to a lot more guessing. But you know what you can do?
SOL. Yeah.
You can put lines on them. If you got a chimney, for example, that.
Yeah, you just have to build you some lines on it.
Here, if you guys want to fool around, I'll show you something. Let's remove the chimney. Markers to keep. I'm going to keep all of this. It's going to take me a second to get. That's not helpful. I don't know. I want to keep everything but the chimney.
I'm kind of wanting to throw up right about now.
Are you getting seasick?
All right, so let me markers to keep. That would be it. This program 101 or 102 would be showing you how to. So the chimney's gone, and I gotta copy this picture though. You're getting into some advanced stuff here, guys. So I'm going to put this in here, but I'm going to, maybe I can't do that.
You're going to make it transparent?
Yeah, it's going to send it. Yeah, see, that didn't work. But at any rate, I can continue with this. Let me picture format, remove background. I still want to keep all this. Come on. Yeah, there's so many different little shapes. It's confusing itself, but this is an amazing tool. This getting rid of background tool. Oops. But I want to show you how quickly we can create a chimney that doesn't have lines. We want to, here's to remove. All right, so now we got no chimney. So how would you then, well, we would have this line, right?
I was going to say, so you still have the line at the roof to the chimney, and you still have like 2 lines really of vertical lines you can go off of. So
yeah.
That's enough to kind of start setting you in motion, right?
Yeah. So the key is you'd still want to find this line. Now, where is it? Yeah, you're going to have to, it's trying to snap right to it.
Educated guess.
Yeah, but see how it wants to go right there.
Interesting, yeah.
So then this is going to be parallel to this, or relatively. It wouldn't exactly in a big view, but and then where does this go? Well, again, you got to use some. Ideally,
would it go parallel with that one?
It wouldn't be parallel, but eventually they would come to a point.
Oh.
So I mean, that's probably not too far off. I mean, honestly, the difference whether I move this line a little bit one way or the other isn't going to change
that much. Yeah.
This center that much. So there's that. That's our center point. So then we
center point of what? You said
whoops.
That's your center point.
That's the center of this. Well, let me draw another line here. So we need a line somewhere between these two, right? So that's that all of this business was just to find that point right there. And that's
which is center of the chimney?
Center of the chimney in perspective. Notice that the distance from here to here, you know, the distance
it's
from
different.
Here to here and here
As
to
you
here.
rotate it, it changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. Yep. That's stuck then.
No, that's cool. So, I mean, all that business is just trying to find the virtual center of the chimney, not the
I know.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's better than guessing.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a little time, but you know, you can see that I put this together quicker than the time I did the first time. I rarely do this approach, you know. I'll just guess. I mean, I know now that this I'm gonna copy this.
Yeah, I'm interested. I might try it myself and just guess and see what happens, see how bad it is.
Yeah. I mean, see, once you have that center point, it really doesn't matter, because all you're going to have wrong is the pitch of the roof, and a perspective. Who cares, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
that's where the ridge goes.
Then you just pull that point back to some fictitious place there on the roof.
Well, it is, but it exactly agrees with. See how if I pull it out here, it has to make sense with these other 3 lines that it's running out there through. And for this one, I would say it's something like that. Maybe, yeah, probably. I'd say that looks about right, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So then now you've got the ridge, you've got the lines up the chimney.
All this other stuff can come out, and you just build off that.
Yeah.
So you did all that for the 3 points.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, and then it's not just the 3 points, because what if it's like this? You still don't have this point.
And it would be like that if it was a flatter roof.
That's right. Different pitches, lots of variables, but like does it hit here? Does it hit here? It all depends. I mean, the cricket will look all right if you're here or here. Really, you know what I mean? It just doesn't. It just isn't that important.
So do you have a default in there that if someone builds it to to this drawing, that it may not work?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it probably would work out.
Limit your liability, Charlie.
I know. You told me to build it with purple lines.
Yeah. Warning, this thing is not to scale. Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, I think with the purple and the red lines, it helps you get a little bit better sense of what was necessary to get to the purple lines. Yeah.
So the $64,000 question, when after another 2 weeks of everybody sitting in, is like, what are you doing with your time as a home inspector when you're not working? You know you're going to go back to work sooner or later. Like, you clean your sock drawer, I guess.
You hone your PowerPoint skills. The person
we'll all be architects here pretty soon.
There's the story about how people can't blame the reason they discover that the reason they don't have time to clean their houses because they don't have time.
Don't judge me for my dirty house, Charles.
I can't see it from here.
Didn't it Galileo discover gravity when he was quarantined for a plague or something?
What?
Yeah, something like that. I think that was it.
There's going to be good stuff that comes out of this, and there's going to be bad stuff. There's no way around it.
All right, guys. Well, hey, I'm going to record. I've recorded this, and I'll kind of try to do a little bit of editing on it, but we'll post it up on the Professional Home Inspection Facebook page, if that's cool with everybody, and then we can revisit this. And we could maybe even do another one sometime, but this was pretty awesome, Charlie. I think the thing I really learned is how much I don't understand perspective drawing and what a valuable tool that could be for us home inspectors, Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Charlie, big thanks. What an awesome presentation. And thanks everybody for joining us, making it fun.
Alrighty. Fun to do.
Stay safe, all right?
All right. Bye,
Cheers.
guys.